The Unified Communist Party of Nepal, Maoist, is a party that emerged out of the Revolutionary Internationalist movement. The party waged a people's war for many years and seized power in much of Nepal. Very abruptly, the leadership called off the People's War and opted for a dead-end path of bourgeois reformism. They seized defeat from the jaws of victory around 2007. During the People's War, the party had projected the image of a Maoist organization. However, shortly after the leadership dismantled the People's War, they began abandoning almost every aspect of Maoism. The ideological turnaround accompanied their dismantling of people's institutions countrywide. They reversed much of their land reform. They dismantled many of their institutions of dual power. They disarmed and marched the People's Army into prison camps supervised by the UN. At one point, they even proposed dropping the Maoist label and merging with mainstream revisionist parties of Nepal. The typical reaction by revisionists on the world scene was either to cover in silence as this betrayal went on, or to cheer the betrayal on. Many continued to cheer the blatant revisionism in Nepal. Only the Leading Light movement, and myself on several occasions, but mainly them, led the communist movement in exposing the reversal of the revolution and the abandonment of Maoism in Nepal. Prachanda has made many pronouncements reassuring the imperialists that despite the occasional radical rhetoric for internal consumption, his party is not a threat to the imperialist order. Given Prachanda's deals with the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund and other imperialists, it should be no surprise that Prachanda has proposed adopting a revisionist, Dengist policy for Nepal's development. We build special economic zones like China. These special economic zones stimulated China's economic development, and we want to learn from China. China's experience is really helpful for us. Special economic zones are regions that have relaxed economic, environmental, and labor laws. These zones are set up to give free rein to foreign capital to exploit the local population and plunder local resources. These zones are a key part of the neoliberal globalization and shock treatment forced on third world countries. The zones have been set up across the third world in China, India, Philippines, Korea, Cambodia, Peru, and other countries. These zones are part of Deng Xiaoping's program of reversing socialism in China in the 1980s. It is no wonder that the compradors who run India have recently proposed making Prachanda's right-hand man and vice chairman of the UCP and Maoist, Baburam Bhattacharya, in the position of prime minister. Like Deng, Prachanda sees development, not class struggle, as the principal way forward in Nepal. In other words, the development of productive forces is the principal problem in Nepal, according to Prachanda. This revisionist outlook has a long history in the communist movement. A version of the theory of productive forces has been held by revisionists such as Trotsky, Liu Shaoqi, and Deng Xiaoping. This theory was criticized as thoroughly revisionist by the Maoists during the Chinese Cultural Revolution. This view was always the main view opposing the Maoist line that emphasized class struggle and opposition to imperialism versus the revisionist line of capitulation in the name of development. To embrace the Dengist road is a total rejection of Maoism and the Cultural Revolution. Label means nothing. Just because Prachanda's party still attaches Maoist suffix to the party name does not mean they are Maoist. Even revisionist Deng claimed to be a follower of Mao. The fact that so few have come forward to expose this revisionism shows the ideological bankruptcy of the majority of these who call themselves Maoist.